James Bennett, firstly, good decision by you to go to the Tour de France this year.
Oh, I knew he was going to win.
Can you take us onto the sidelines in the last couple of days, the time trial and today, when he went into the Champs-Élysées, and tell us what it was like for you to be among all of those Australians to witness that history-making moment?
There certainly was the sense amongst everyone who'd followed Cadel around the roads around France from the start of this tour 3 weeks ago, down through the mountains and then finally to Paris today, that they really were witnessing something very, very special. And yesterday it was that air of anticipation and perhaps, you know, laced with that sense of doubt that they'd seen Cadel Evans come so close before and be highly favoured and ultimately not be able to come away with the win, and there was perhaps a bit of scepticism as a result of that. But then once those first splits came in and once he'd erased that deficit to Andy Schleck by almost the first of the intermediate checks, there was just a real buzz, and to go from watching his team staff, who were very, very professional people and had been spending a lot of time doing everything right to make sure that he had every opportunity at success, to see their pensive faces turn to first smiles and then grins, and then see the amazing backslapping celebration, which we're not used to seeing from Cadel at the end of it, was a really, really fantastic experience, and one which, Paul, as you said in your introduction, is made all the richer by the fact that he has really gone through hard yards to get here.
And James, there's 7 other Australians riding the tour there. I know you've had some chats to them along the way. What are they saying about what this means to Australian cycling?
Look, it was very, very exciting. I think we have to remember that a lot of these guys are all on different teams, and indeed in Stuart O'Grady's position, his job, what he's paid to do, is to try and assist Andy Schleck and Frank Schleck in winning the Tour de France, and yet there was this real joy, there was this is a great moment for Australian cycling from them as they crossed the finish line as well. And James,
talk to us now about Cadel's personality in the last couple of weeks. What have you noticed in him that's different? I know you're a cycling nut, to for want of a better phrase, but what can you tell us about why Cadel's different this year?
In a word, Paul, the team. It's very, very clear that, as you mentioned again, that he has had difficulties with team politics before, and there was quite a pointed barb at his former Belgian team, the Lotto outfit, when in the press conference after the time trial he said to one reporter, "Look, I know you're Belgian and you probably won't want to hear this, but the difference is the team that I have around me now." And it's abundantly clear. I've had the opportunity to speak to Jim Oshwitz, the president of BMC Cycling, who's someone who goes a long way back in cycling. He signed Lance Armstrong to his first professional team. Also in this team is George Hincapie, the American veteran who just a few hours ago equalled the record for the most ever Tour de France's ridden, and he was a key part of the Armstrong era as well. And he told me that it's just a very, very special feeling to be part of a team that can pull together a Tour de France win, because it does obviously take a huge team effort, and we've seen that in Cadel, that he's just been so very comfortable with these people that are doing their utmost to put him in the position where he can then do his utmost and come away with the win, and to see that all come off has been a remarkable thing to see, and certainly it's been reflected in Cadel's demeanour that he's been comfortable in that environment, and that's what has been the key factor in his success.
It's been described as the race of his life, but also in anyone's terms, that's one hell of a race for anyone. He set a cracking time, didn't he?
He absolutely did, and he was, in his own words, he knew he was on a good day, and he came into that day with a bit of a warm-up ride, as they normally do for such a short and such a hard and intense effort. And he said afterwards that he went out and he knew. He had those first few strokes of the pedals, and he knew in his heart and in his legs that it was going to be a day for him. And as Paul said, he talked in his autobiography rather of riding like he was flying, and it was quite clear that was what he was doing. Added to that, he knew that course. He'd done that course both in reconnaissance and also at one of the key lead-up races to the Tour, the Dauphiné Libre, only some 6 weeks before, and so he knew that course very well. And there were a few of the corners that he took that had some muted gasps in the audience, and it was quite clear that he knew exactly what he was doing, and he knew where he could be faster than Andy Schleck around that course. In fact, I actually spoke to a couple of his team staff afterwards that were in the car, and when he got within 2 seconds of Tony Martin, the stage winner, he was very keen to really stamp his authority on this race, and he wanted to go for the stage win. And the staff in the car were actually telling him, no, you better slow down, because it's just not worth it to take a risk and slide out on one of these corners and lose the ultimate prize that you've come here to get.
Okay, James, and what next now for Cadel Evans?
Well, he's already made it abundantly clear that he will be back next year, and certainly I know his BMC team is very, very keen to have him back to defend the Tour. And while we do talk about Cadel Evans certainly mellowing and seeming to be at ease with himself, there's one thing that he still doesn't like, and that's questions about his age. He's certainly a very, very proud man, and look, you know, if you can win a Tour at 34, then why would you stop? There's certainly no reason for him to stop now. In the last 2 years, he's become world champion. He's had several very big victories in one-day stage races, and it's quite clear that he's someone who really is at the peak of his career. So at least a couple of seasons yet for Cadel Evans.